Hello, people of the world. We are back with Done with Adulting podcast. Jared, hi.
Zam. We took a little hiatus.
A little hiatus.
Yeah, it was only 2 weeks, something light. Nothing crazy.
It kind of felt like a while, even though it was only 2 weeks. But I feel like we needed that because shit was hitting the fan.
Yeah, life was going on.
Life was going on. We needed a couple weeks. What are you sipping on over there, by the way? I meant to ask you.
I'm drinking some a cab. Nice red wine.
Nice. That sounds good.
I see you and your mimosa at 9 p.m. at night.
This is in bedtime mimosa?
I like that. I like that. Bedtime mimosa. I like that.
How are all your DIY projects going? I saw on Instagram a situation with the boxing. What is the thing that hangs from the ceiling?
The heavy bag? The heavy bag?
Yes, the heavy bag.
Oh yeah, so I tried to.
Did you figure that out?
Yeah, so for the people who don't know or who don't follow me, I tried to make this little, I don't want to call it an entrapment. I tried to make this structure that would hold my boxing heavy bag so I could use it to work out. And it didn't go to plan. So it ended up falling over. But I just moved it into my garage. But it's up there now. Eventually, I'm going to try to move it into the basement. But I wanted to be outside kind of for like the summer months. So I could like work out outside.
What summer? It's going to snow.
Yeah. I hate it here.
When you tweeted that, I literally cracked the F up. I literally did that same laugh. I was like, ha! Because I could hear you saying it.
Yeah, I hate it here. Like, it's about to be May 9th. Yeah, it's going to be May 9th and it's going to snow. It's going to be a
It's
vortex.
just going to be dusting.
It's May. There should be no dusting.
Mm-hmm.
There should be no dusting. There should be no cold weather. But hey, people think global warming isn't real.
This is true.
People think climate changes are real. People think global warming means people think that global warming means that it just gets hot.
We're just getting warmer.
Like, no, idiots.
Yeah, you're right that people do think that because someone said to me, like, because we didn't even get that much snow, knock on wood, this winter. They're like global warming, everything's warming up. I'm like,
the president of the United States thinks that. Like, come on.
This is true.
Like, come on, bro. But how was your 2 weeks off from the pod?
2 weeks off from the pod. Full disclosure.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let the people know. Like, we didn't plan to take 2 weeks off. Just life events happened, and we had to cope with those life events. So
yeah. Well, yes. Full disclosure. One of the main reasons we took 2 weeks off from the pod was mostly because of my life.
Hold on. We won't get into it yet. Hold on. We won't get into it yet.
Okay.
Hold on. What else happened in that 2 weeks though? I'm trying to think.
What else happened? Honestly, Jared, I don't know because I was blacked out for the past 2 weeks. So
has anybody hit you and like said, "Oh, I missed the pod" or anything like that, or "I need you guys to drop"?
I mean, we have a couple of followers who definitely were like, "I'm gonna catch up on the other episodes during this time," and I was like, "Bet you should definitely do that." But no, mostly nobody asked. Besides maybe my mom and Tara, it's like, well, you haven't recorded in a while, and I'm like, mind your business.
But they know though. They were in the thick with you, so they know.
Oh yes, we were all in the thick of it.
I want to give a shout out to my homie up in Maine. Her name is Lauren. I was talking to her the other day, and she was like, "Yo, I need you guys to drop the pod. I need something to do." Yeah, she's like, I need something.
To you, Lauren.
She's like, I need something to do up here during this quarantine. So,
well, we got a doozy for you.
Yeah, the people who went back to the old episodes or who are caught up on episodes, we appreciate y'all.
Yes, we do. There are some good ones in the archive, from the first couple episodes.
Facts. All right, so let's get into it.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, so if we can just like preface this by saying most of our listeners know that my wedding was scheduled for June 20th, 2020.
It was gonna be a blast, a banger.
And, up until this, this whole time with Corona, of course, we've always known that it was possible or very, very likely that that would not happen. However,
You kept faith.
we kept the faith, we kept it pushing. And, so 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago now? Because was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. It wasn't this past week. It was the week before. We officially postponed the wedding. So I just wanted to talk about it because, number one, I hadn't talked to you about it yet. And I know you're going to be wanting to know the details of whatever happened because we were talking about the possibility of it happening the last time we talked.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Actually, you were, I was about to say we were waiting. You were waiting for what Governor Baker to like give some guidance and make a decision on if the stay-at-home orders would be extended or if they were going to open up the state, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came out and he really didn't help that much, right?
No, he didn't say anything. Well, what he said was that the stay-at-home advisory is extended to May 18th, which we knew was going to happen. Like, we knew we weren't getting out May 4th. We're not, like, idiots.
We're not naive.
But I was just thinking, like, I thought he was going to come out and say that, and then he was also going to say, like, what his plan was going to be for when it was time to reopen, but, like, he didn't have a plan yet. So at some point, we had to be like, obviously, number one, even if we are open and back to life by June 20th, which I think we will be, it's not going to be group sizes of 170 people, which is the amount of people that are supposed to be attending this wedding. And like, if it is group sizes that big, it's going to be like social distancing rules, which is just like, okay, like, why would we do that at a wedding? And there obviously are family members who weren't like feeling comfortable about traveling in June anyways. So it was like all these factors. However, I wanted to share my experience because I know there are a lot of people out there who are not just canceling or postponing their weddings, but like, friends that that might be like pregnant that were supposed to have a baby shower that can't, or like
any
graduations, graduations, like all that stuff.
And you want to get it off your chest. You might feel better about talking about it.
Yes, I do need to. No, I do need to get it off my chest. I like don't even know where to. Let's start first with the fact of like, which Jared, you can speak to this. The amount of time, because this is what fuels the grief of having to like postpone a wedding or an event. The amount of time and money and emotion that you put into planning that event is like,
it's a lot.
Overwhelming.
So from my experience, everything was cool until like the week of or the week before the wedding. That's when I started going kind of crazy because I had so many family members just hitting me up nonstop. And I was like, yo, leave me alone. I do not want to be bothered. So for you, I think you said people were like hitting you up nonstop trying to figure out what was happening so they could make their plans or finalize their plans or whatever.
Yeah.
So that had to be even worse for you because first, you don't even know if the wedding's going to happen on the date that you want it to happen. And then plus you're getting bombarded with questions and things like that. For me, it was like I knew it was happening and I just had to answer these questions. I just had to deal with it, but I didn't want to. And I was getting annoyed with everybody hitting me up and asking me stupid questions. But for you, it had to be even worse because this whole COVID thing.
Yeah, it was just like a lot of people calling being like, well, what's going to happen? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you know what's going to happen? Do you have a crystal ball? Are we psychics? Like, I don't know when Miss Corona is going to be done rampaging the earth. Like, I'm sorry. I wish I fucking knew. But yes, people were hitting me up and that was very stressful. Just like, obviously they all have good intentions and are just like checking to like see. And our wedding is like technically destination. So people like rented houses or like were coming for the week, like all that stuff. So there was like more at stake for a lot of people, which I understand. However, like, I don't have the answers. And like, if I did have the answers, don't we feel like I would have already reached out to you to let you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Like
Like what the
you would
plan
have
was?
you would have been proactive and let them know.
Like, I'm just like, you think I'm hiding something from you? I am not. Like, I will let you know.
Those individuals don't understand that. They just think like, oh, it's just probably me asking that question, but it's like multiple family members, multiple friends, just nonstop with the same question.
Right. And there are some family members and friends who I don't mind asking me those questions because I would have probably consulted them to hear their feedback on our options anyways. But like the people that I don't know, just the people that you're like, bruh, I can't. Like, I don't feel like I need to explain who those people are. I feel like we all have those people in your life where you're just like, I cannot.
Oh no, for sure. For sure.
So those people were really pushing me to the edge. So I really want to just tell you how that week went for me. Like from Monday
Yeah.
to Friday. Because you're really gonna get a kick out of this.
Yeah, because I think the governor made an announcement on Thursday.
No. He made the announcement on like Monday. It was like the beginning
Oh,
of the
so
week.
it was that okay. So yeah, give us a timeline.
Okay, so on Monday, this is 2 weeks ago. On Monday, we're like thinking we're probably going to be making a decision soon. Anxiety is building, right? So tensions are high. I'm flipping out every 2 seconds. I'm snapping on people for no reason. I'm stressed. Okay, so just paint that picture for yourself from the get go. Tuesday, we're communicating with our wedding planner, who is great, by the way. If I didn't have that woman in my life, I don't know where I would be right now. But but we're communicating with the wedding planner. She's like, honestly, like, I do think that the venue and the restaurants are going to be open. I just don't think it's going to be groups.
Full capacity. Yeah, full capacity.
Yeah, or just like, I think when we open back up, it's going to be like groups of maybe 50 or less for restaurants, like with social distancing, but like not 170, obviously.
Yeah, like I heard that once everything starts to open up, they want restaurants to operate at like 30 or 40% or something like
Capacity or
that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So her thing was like, so that's what she was saying, but she was like, but this whole time we already had a backup plan. Like first of all, our venue relies on summer revenue, like it's their livelihood. So they were basically saying like, unless the governor or the CDC tells us differently, we will host you. Like they were basically begging us not to change it, and they had given us a backup date penciled in the books for 2020 when this first started in March. So that was the reason we could wait so long
Oh wow.
to make a decision, because we had already started working on the backup plan, even though we hadn't like flipped the switch to say like move forward with it.
Yeah.
So we're communicating on Tuesday with the lady, right? So then it's Wednesday. We have another call with the wedding planner, and we're just like, we were thinking about communicating with our guests anyways, just to say like, we're going to make a decision by May 20th, which would have been a month before, which I thought was like plenty of time. So I was going to just like email everyone and be like, I know you're all like have questions, but like, we'll let you know before the 20th. And then Terrence and my mom were kind of like, if we're going to be reaching out to these people, like we might as well just make a decision, because like the reality of it is like we're not going to be gathering in groups of 170, and even if we were, because the president says we can, like
You still gotta be smart about it.
So this is on Wednesday. So my mom's like, so we're going back and forth about it. I'm like, let's just go with the backup plan. Like, let's just fucking do it. Like, just, and I can feel like, you guys can't see me right now, but like the anxiety is at the top of my neck. Like it's right on your throat, to the point where like, when you're so anxious, it's like you have a knot in your throat, and like one little thing is going to just really push you over the edge. Like that was like where I was on Wednesday. And my mom's like, sleep on it. Just get a good night's sleep. So I get a good night's sleep.
I feel like your mom is like so positive too. Like the type
she would have canceled it on June 19th if she had the option. Like she was not trying to cancel. She was like, even when I was like, well, it's not safe, she was like, well, whoever doesn't feel safe can stay home.
Hey, those are facts. Those are
She
facts.
was talking reckless too. We were all going through something.
I feel like at this point she just wants it to be
Well,
done,
there's a lot
over with.
financially invested into this wedding. Let me just tell you.
Oh no, for sure, for sure.
So, which anybody who has planned a wedding gets. So I wake up on Thursday and I'm like, I just need to fucking pull the trigger on this because I can't, like, I physically could not take the in between anymore. Like, I was exhausted from going back and forth in my head of, like, if it happens, it'll look like this. If it doesn't happen, I have to start doing all this other planning. Because if it doesn't happen, there's about 20,000 other things that I have to do for follow up to make sure that it can happen on the later date. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So the thought of
yeah.
having to do that hanging over my head, but like not starting it because we hadn't made a decision was crippling me, like physically crippling me.
Hold on. How was Terrence
Terrence,
like
the
handling
whole time, this is the funniest part. Whole time, anybody who knows Terrence will believe this.
it?
He's like, it's gonna be fine. He's like unfazed,
Yo,
going about his
I feel
day.
like I would have been the same exact way.
Going about his day, yada 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 yada. So Thursday morning, I come downstairs for work to my kitchen where I go to work. And my mom's there because we both work at the kitchen table. And I'm like, we should just fucking do it. Like, let's just fucking do it so I can, like, do it. Like, just do it. So we email the wedding planner. We're like, we're going to go with the backup date. Like, can we please move forward with, like, all the changes or whatever? So then it is 8:30 in the morning. It's early. Okay. I obviously lost it. Like it had been building up and then finally when I just like made a decision, it was like I pulled the plug.
Pull the
Yeah.
trigger. Yeah.
And like it just
All the emotions came out.
flooding out of me. So I go upstairs to like my room and the room across from my room, which is like a living room. And I'm inconsolable. Okay. I am fully out of breath sobbing. And I'm just like, because also like, whatever. There's just a lot of different things. So,
No, say
well,
it. Say
so
it.
I was like calling people that I wanted to tell on the phone before I sent the email to all the guests at the same time. So I like called my sister who like knew this was probably coming and I'm like inconsolable. And she's like, okay, breathe. Like she's like doing breathing exercise on the phone. So then after I hang up with her, I called like my cousin, who's basically like my sister, and I'm like telling her over the phone. Then I called like my best friend Allie, my other best friend Tiffany, like people that like these are all my bridesmaids. Like these are people that are
Yeah.
the closest people to me. And so like I would talk to them break like obviously when you are talking to someone about it you get emotional about it, so I would get emotional and then pull it together and like tell them the logistics of the new plan, and then as soon as I called someone else I would just lose it again. It was like 5 calls back to back in a row.
Yeah, because you just keep like reliving it
Yes, and it's
again
just
and
like
again with every call.
one thing I want to say, like for anybody who has canceled anything during Corona, it's like you feel like why the F is this happening to me? Like why Corona? Like seriously? And then in the other side of your brain, you're like, don't be dramatic. Like people are literally dying and losing their
Yeah.
jobs. But then
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
got to look at it from both
yes,
sides.
and so, but this is what is making me so emotional in my head because I'm sad that I had to move the day that I've been waiting for 2 years, and the other side of my brain is like, give it up. Like people are losing family members and jobs and their livelihood. Like you'll
Yeah.
be
Like it
okay.
could be worse.
Yes,
It could be
but
worse.
then the side of my brain that's sad about the wedding is like, no, like you can still grieve the fact that you are not going to have the day that you have been planning to have. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like
no,
an
no, for sure.
internal back and forth and you're just like, what the
What the
fuck?
F? Yeah. Hold on, yeah. So coming from my perspective, I know like we are obviously we talked and we were like, you told me what could be possible if you cancel blah blah blah. And then I get a text in the group chat with all the people, all the homies, and you go, you send us a text and you go, can you please send me your email? This is a group chat to like there's like 10 people. Can you please She goes, "Can you please send me your email with the upside down smiley face?" And as soon as I got that, I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good." So then I text you on the side. I'm like, "Yo, are you good?" And then and then that's when I find out. I'm like, as soon as I got that text, I was like, "Oh no."
Oh my God.
The upside down smiley face. That just
That's when you know I'm losing it. I'm like,
yeah, that in the text just I was like, "Oh no." So I had to shoot you a separate text to make sure you were good.
yeah, I appreciate that.
This was after you this was after you already had
No, but
your
this was on Thursday. No, you were, or no, that I maybe texted you guys on Friday.
that was
Yeah,
later,
it was
yeah,
on
that was
Friday.
later.
Okay, so Thursday, now it's 2:30 p.m. I've been sobbing consecutively for 6.5 straight hours. At this point, I'm like, I have to be running out of internal fluids because there's nothing left for me to give. I'm tired.
Hold on, back to Terrence though. Now that you made the decision, yeah, what's he
He's
like?
like he's fine.
He's still the
I
same?
honestly I don't think that he actually processed it till later that weekend, which I'm gonna get to. But it was so funny because on Thursday, like he knew I was upset upstairs, and he like was being supportive. He's like, it's gonna be fine, right? This is at like 10:30. So he comes back upstairs around 3. And I had just got off FaceTime with my boss at like she called me at 2:30 because I text her and I was like, I text her asking if I could take Friday off because I was just like so fucking tired. And she was like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And I was like, "We just moved the wedding." So she FaceTimed me, and she's attending the wedding, like we're cool. So she FaceTimed me because she knew I would be like upset about it, and I started sobbing again to her on the phone, and she was mad cool. She was like, "All right, answer that last email I just sent you, and then like take the rest of the afternoon and tomorrow or whatever." So I was like, bet. So I had just got off the phone with her. So I was had like my post sob face on, like dry skin, crusty,
Face red.
yeah, crusty tears, like all dripping down your face. And so Terrence comes in the room and he's like, and I'm in the bedroom. Terrence is like, just being himself, going about his day, like he's about to do something in the room. And he walked past me and he looked at me over his shoulder and then he like noticed that I looked kind of crazy. So he looked again. He goes, "Oh, are you still sad?" And I was like, "Sir, yes, I'm still sad." He was like,
Does that like make you mad at all or
it doesn't make me mad. I was just like, I was so tired and just like, I knew he wasn't going to have the same reaction to me as it's literally Terrence. Like, it's Terrence. I know him. He's like, everything rolls off the shoulder. But I was just like, bruh, yes, I'm still sad. Like, it's fine. So now it's 3:30 p.m. My best friend's mom drops me off a bottle of wine on my front porch. I had already drank a full bottle of wine at this point at 3:30 p.m. Okay, so she dropped off my next bottle.
This Thursday or Friday still?
Whoa, we're still on Thursday, 3:30 p.m. So I'm on my second bottle of wine. I'm FaceTiming with both my sisters and drinking wine. And then I was watching, like, I was just getting wasted on wine, watching Teen Mom. I was in a state of misery. I was like, I'm going to watch Teen Mom. At least these people's lives are worse than mine. Like, I was a mess, Jared.
No, that's how you know it's real. You're watching Teen Mom.
I mean, I
What?
watch Teen Mom anyways because
Oh my god.
First of all, Teen Mom came out when I was 16, so now I feel committed to these people's lives. We're the same age. I've been following them for 10 years.
Are they still following the same people from back then?
Yes, 10 years in the making.
Wow.
There's even more drama now than there ever was. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I'm watching Teen Mom. I'm like, at least these people's lives are worse than mine. I'm sitting in a pool of misery. And
Make you feel better about yourself?
Yes. I'm now 2 bottles solo of wine in and at like 7 p.m. And I'm just like, okay.
Sam, you're crushing the wine.
Crushing it. I'm literally so dehydrated because I have no fluids in my body from all the tears I shed. I am wasted. I had like some chicken. That was it. And I'm like, yo, I need to go upstairs and go to bed. So we go upstairs do what we do upstairs. And then I fall asleep. I pass out. And I slept for about 13 straight hours.
Oh, but you needed that. You needed some rest.
Oh my God. So then I wake up on Friday. I have the day off. I feel better, but I'm not 100%, but I'm better. But I
I
don't
think we were supposed to record that day.
we were supposed to record that day. So I don't have tears left at this point, and you and I texted that day, but I'm exhausted. And now my entire day that I took off from work was inundated with like just emails about the wedding and like which vendors can do the new date and which ones can't. And like, we got to get these contracts updated. Like, the just insanity, like an insane amount of logistics. And now I have to draft an email to send to 170 people to tell them that this wedding is being postponed. So obviously
That email was a novel.
that email was, at the end of the day, written by Monet.
The real MVP.
I was like staring at my computer for 3 hours looking at a blank Word document, and I was like, I can't fucking do this. I was like, just write it from the tense of me and Terrence, and then I will go through and change what I want to change. So she did like the template, and then we added.
Okay, so Terrence is cool the whole time. How was Monet when you made the decision?
She was like fine. I mean,
Did she get emotional at all?
No, that woman is hard as a rock. But she like knew that I was emotional about it, but she was kind of just like trying to make light of it. And at some point she got wasted on wine as well. I don't really remember at what time because it was all a blur at this point.
Yeah, you were 2 bottles in at that point.
You know, on Friday, the next day I had to like update the website for like COVID-19 and like I'm calling a 1,000 fucking things. Whatever, all the things you did to plan your wedding, Jared, all those things, you just had to do it a second time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, if we didn't have our planner, it would have been much worse because she did a lot of stuff, but it was a lot. Let me just say that.
So were the vendors and was everybody accommodating, like knowing the situation and knowing the circumstances?
Yeah, like in terms of contracts and payment, everyone's being accommodating, but there are some vendors that aren't available for a new date. So like we have to find a new photographer. The photographer we took our engagement pictures with as a practice to make sure we liked her. Like we paid her already a certain amount of money that we're not getting back. Like we have to find a new fucking photographer.
Photographer, that's a lot of money.
Facts. So there's that. And just like there's other vendors like that too. The majority of them were fine and accommodating and are moving, but like there are a couple that we have to like, I don't know, whatever. The good news though is our hotel that we have our room block at the rates are cheaper on our new date. So when our guests moved their reservations to the new weekend, they got a refund back for the difference in price.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was one positive thing, I feel like. And then my brother, literally, now it's Saturday. That's the first time I've seen Aaron in like 3 days, and we live in the same house. He has no idea the wedding has been moved. It's been moved for 2 days. And we're all in the kitchen on Saturday, and I'm like, we're talking about the wedding. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the wedding is moved. He was like, oh, well, when is it moved to? And I tell him, I'm like, October. He's like, hey, at least I'll be 21 now at the wedding instead of 20. I'm like, bro. Is that all you have to say?
I'm surprised you didn't spaz out on him.
I was literally turned my neck like this and I was like, I can't even look at you. So he thinks it's great. He's so happy.
He was going to be drinking anyway.
Exactly. He looks like he's 35. So the weekend goes by. We're like, da-da-da. So Sunday, so then we have to send the email on Sunday, right? And now we're debating about what time we should send it because we know we're going to get texts and calls and whatever. And Terrence is like, man, I'm not sending that out before the MJ documentary because I'm not trying to get these messages and calls during the MJ documentary. And I'm like, well, we can't send it out after the MJ documentary. It's over at 11 p.m. We might as well do
Yeah,
it on Monday
it's too late. You
morning.
might as well. Yeah, you might as well do it Monday morning.
So this is when Terrence finally had his breakdown. He's like, so we send the email like 7 or something, like before the documentary, and obviously all the texts start to come in, and like there are friends like that we both have that can't make it now, obviously for like wedding, other weddings or babies or whatever. One of Terrence's friends is having a baby, so like as he's starting to get these messages, he's like out of nowhere, he's like, "Did we really just move this fucking wedding?" And I'm like, "Yes, 4 days ago. Where have you been?" And he's like, he starts throwing water bottles. He's like, "This is ridiculous." I'm like, "Sir, we moved the wedding 4 whole days ago, and now you're reacting." He's like, "Yeah, because I just got this email, and now it just makes it so real. Like now that all these people are texting me, I'm like, so
Hey, I mean, he has a point though. He has a point.
he
Like
had his
wasn't hitting on that.
breakdown
Yeah, it wasn't hitting on
way later. He had a temper tantrum. When I say he had a temper tantrum, I just want to clarify. It literally lasted about 24 seconds, and then it was over. And then I was like, "It's fine." He was like, "Yeah, you're right. It's fine."
and then the documentary started.
And then the documentary started, and he was fine. And he was also wasted on Sunday because we had pre-Cinco de Mayo on Sunday, so the struggle was real.
Nah, so just looking back at the whole experience, like, you're obviously still looking forward to your new date. When your date passes, like, are you going to get emotional again on that day? Or are you past it now? Or
Well, you know it's so funny, and Emily Vento Gaines, shout out to you, because the last time we were on the phone with each other, you and me and Emily, and we were talking about, well, you know, when we were doing our content planning, Emily was like, "Well, what if you did it still and like got married on your day and then just like did everything, you know, all the fun stuff on the new day?" And I never thought about it until she said that. Like I never considered that as a possibility. And so now, this is like a secret to my family because we don't want them to know and be butthurt. But nobody on my, I don't think any of my listeners are my family members, so I think it's fine. So we are going to get secretly legally married on our day with our parents and siblings only.
hey, it's lit.
But then we're going to do everything the same on the new day. Like for this day, like we were planning on writing our own vows, which we still plan to do, but for June 20th, we're just going to do like the textbook better or worse ones and then save the written ones for October. So that is really the only thing that's like keeping me sane, I guess, is the fact that like I'm still going to be married on the date that I'm emotionally tied to. That'll be that'll be like our anniversary date still. But, you know, I heard, you know, everyone, the vineyard is gorgeous in the fall and like, yeah, all these positive things I'm trying to tell myself on a daily basis, but like, it's fucked. Like, it's just.
Yeah, and actually, I remember we were talking before and you were like, even if we move it, we're still doing our honeymoon the same day or the same time.
Yeah.
Or is that still a go or?
Yeah, we are. So, well, our honeymoon was supposed to be it was supposed to be Barbados, but like, we don't really want to go out of the country. Like, I think obviously by June 22nd, people are going to be traveling again, I think. Like in a safe way. I mean, we're going to be, okay. By the way, I have a statement to make about Sandals Resort. If you're listening to the Sandals, listen up because I have a complaint. We were supposed to go to Sandals Resort in Barbados.
I didn't even know they had a Sandals out there.
It's new.
Oh.
It was going to be amazing. And they're like, we're opening on June 4th, right? So they're like, we're not giving out like, you have to, basically they want you to pay for the reservation in full. Like you put down a couple $100 deposit, which is what we did. And then they wanted the rest of the money in full. And we're calling them like, well, what if we pay you and then we can't travel on your date because the U.S. Embassy in Barbados says if you come here, you have to quarantine for 14 days, which is like, it's only a week honeymoon. So what the fuck is the point of that? So I said that to them on the phone and the guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what I'm talking about? How are you going to open on June 4th, but the U.S. Embassy, like you are a resort. Where do you think the people are coming from to go to your resort? And the guy like just had no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's basically telling me that we have to pay in full. And then if for some reason we can't travel on our honeymoon date because of coronavirus, they're not issuing refunds. You just have to keep moving your reservation date until you can go. I'm like, so it's
like a credit kind of.
Yes. I'm like, credit? I'm about to pay you
A whole amount of money.
several $1,000s. Like this was an all inclusive, and we had a butler swim. Like we were going all in for this. Like
Yeah.
several $1,000s as a credit out in the open. Like no, sir. So what we did was we changed our honeymoon plans to go to Florida because they are
They're
back to
wild right now.
reality.
The beaches are crowded.
They're back to reality.
The people are out and moving around.
I'm like by June, so we're doing it.
Yeah, by June, everything's going to be open 1,000%.
Well, the place that we're going to go now, it's a Ritz-Carlton, so obviously it's nice. But the only thing is, it's not all inclusive. But I'm just like over that part. But they're already open right now. They're like, you could come tomorrow if you wanted to, and they're like, we're doing all this for cleaning. They're like telling us about all their stuff, and like. My whole thing is like when we go on the honeymoon, like first of all, I'm bringing my own sheets and blankets anyways. That's a no-brainer. And like for the hotel room, and I'm going to wipe everything down. And also there's not going to be that many people at the hotel. Like there's going to be mad people still not traveling. I feel like I think it's going to be relatively empty. Plus it's not like a hotel where it's like,
Everybody's on top of each other.
Yeah, no, it's not. And the only person we have like our own little ground level deck with like a fire pit, and you can do like dinners out there. Like we can be pretty isolated.
You go socially distance.
Exactly.
And then even if you go to the beaches or go out, you still gonna stay away from people. Right. And the weather's gonna be nice.
And we're going to Amelia Island. Like we're not going to like South Beach. We're going to like old people land.
So they won't be out. Yeah, they won't be out.
Exactly. It's kind of like near Jacksonville. Like we had to fly into Jacksonville.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like it's not really an island. It's like a little jettison kind of.
Yeah. So are you going there in June still, or?
Yeah. So we're going 2 days after we get legally married, June 22nd. Which is like obviously there might be some people that have a problem with that when they hear this, but like, look.
Who cares? It's not their life.
I just feel like
it's not their life.
When I get back, I'll quarantine.
F that. When they get married or when they have whatever situation they have, they can do what they want. This is your life. It's your wedding. You can do what you want. If they don't like it, who cares? It's none of their business.
Dead. So that has been the saga of my life. But I said shout out to Emily because her mentioning that idea was what made us start to think about like what would it look like if we did move our date? Would we still be open to getting legally married with just our parents? And really started to think about that. And once we had that plan secured of like how we wanted to do that, then we felt more comfortable.
It was easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that conversation. I was like, I even asked you, I was like, is that date that important to you that you would like want to stay on that date and just do something small?
Yeah.
And then have a huge party after. Some people, the date means something to them, like for real. So,
well, it does. Like the date means something just because I've been waiting for it for 2 years. Like we did a 2-year engagement. So I just feel like not only that, I'm just ready to be married. Like I'm truly sick of the word fiance. And
you ready to upgrade to husband?
I'm trying to upgrade. And you know, the next plan after this obviously is to start like the home buying process. And we didn't want to start that until we were like legally married. So it's like, if we push that back, like all of our other plans, quote unquote, because no one fucking planned for COVID, but all of our plans kind of like get pushed back out. And it's just like, why? Like, why? What does it matter? We can get legally married and do everything exactly the same in October. And hey, now I get to wear that several $1,000 wedding dress more than one time.
Oh, so you're gonna wear both? You're gonna wear it the day of the wedding, and okay, that's actually I've heard of other people doing that, like getting married before their actual wedding date, but I just never thought that they would wear the dress twice.
Hell yeah!
Or like what they would do with it, but that makes sense though.
You would never wear it again after most people wear their dress literally one time and they pay $1,000. Yeah. But Terrence bought his tux too. He's not renting it. The groomsmen are renting it, but he bought his, so he's excited to wear it 2 times in 1 year. I mean, where else do we go that requires a tux? Nowhere.
Yo, I bought my tux and I'm like, that one was a lot of money. I wore it once.
Yeah, but yours you could wear again.
Yeah, I'm about to wear my next call at work or something just to throw it on. I'm just, bro.
You could wear it to ours now that it's in the fall. It won't be so hot.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good point. Yo, I haven't put jeans on. Like I haven't put jeans on or pants on in like a month and a half.
I said the other day that I was sick of leggings, and Terrence was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm just sick of pants in general. Like, I don't
You
want to
don't
wear
wear shorts
jeans.
around the house?
I do, but like my house is perpetually cold, so I like am always in trying to wear something with pants, and I don't know. I'm just sick of all this shit. All right, I'm just sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Rona is throwing a major wrench into people's lives, altering people's lives for forever.
Yeah, so if there are any 2020 brides out there, which I know there are, some that I know personally that are going through this experience, or even with graduation parties, graduations, uh,
Bridal showers,
bridal
like you said,
showers, baby
baby
showers,
showers,
all
even
that
your bachelorette and bachelor parties.
bachelor parties, like, I feel your pain. I am with you. You will get through this. Let it out. Just let those tears out. I felt so much better after that full 6 hours of tears. I mean, I wasn't like happy, but I felt like released.
How do you feel now? Now that you're actually talking about it.
I kind of feel like I'm still annoyed and pissed off about it, like when I think about it, but there's just so much going on that I have to take care of for the legal date and for the new date that it's kind of like keeping me distracted from it. But I still feel annoyed as fuck. Like I feel like I roll, like just forever rolling my eyes.
Do you think that you'll be more emotional now on your date once you actually
I
go
don't know.
through with
I've been thinking about that. I really don't know. I think I will be just because, which actually I am okay with because it's just going to be like our most intimate people. And
Yeah.
so I'll probably feel more comfortable and definitely be emotional. I mean, I'll probably be emotional at both, but I'm hoping if I'm emotional at this one, I'll be less emotional in October.
Actual date, yeah.
But that kind of sucks too because it's like you want it to be your real, I don't know, fucking know. But it will be because we'll be with all of our friends and family.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge party. It'll be fun. It'll be
Everyone's like,
loud.
this is going to be a story for your children. I'm like, I'm like, cool. I don't care. I would rather not have a story to tell them, but like, okay.
So both of your bachelorette party got canceled and his bachelor party got canceled. Are you guys gonna try to do something before
I don't
or
know.
no?
I really don't know. I would give up 20 bachelorette parties just for this fucking wedding to happen. Like, that's how I
Okay,
feel.
I feel you.
But I mean, like, if Boston's open sometime in August, we can,
Yeah, because I don't think it'll be open before your actual date,
no
like
way.
bars,
Not
clubs, and
bars.
whatnot. So yeah, we'll get together and we'll celebrate y'all once Mass opens up. But then again, like once Mass opens up, do you even really want to be in the crowded club?
Not really. I saw something on Twitter and it was like somebody was like, when the world opens back up, I'm gonna let y'all go out and try it out first. I'm gonna stay quarantined for another couple weeks
Exactly. No, facts.
and see what happens.
Being in the house, just staring at the window, watching everybody else go outside and get sick.
Yo, people are out. Like someone on my Instagram like is literally was like in Miami on a boat partying with like 40 people, like twerking, grinding,
That's
partying.
ridiculous. I bet you 10% of those people probably got the Rona.
I was like, hey, whatever. Y'all want to? Some people really don't give a fuck about getting the Rona, which is kind of scary because, like, I understand if you don't care about your health because sometimes I can get in those modes too. Like, full disclosure, there literally the other day when we were talking about the honeymoon, and someone was like, "Do you still want to? Like, are you definitely still going to go on your honeymoon?" I was like, "If the good Lord wants me to die at the age of 27, He's going to take me from this earth with whether it's with coronavirus or not."
I mean, you
So
have a point.
sometimes I get like that, but then I'm like, oh wait, it's not about me. It's about like spreading it to other people who do care about dying. I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck.
that's the thing though. That's the thing because like even in the southern states when like all the beaches were opening up and you see tons of people out there, and we're like, and like even the spring breakers, they're like, oh, we don't care.
Yeah,
We're young, we're healthy. Like you guys could have it, not know, and then spread it to your other family
exactly,
members,
exactly.
and then
Like I'm
they're
not.
gone.
I mean, like I don't want to get corona, and I don't want to spread it to anyone else, and I don't think I'm immune. Like I have asthma. Like I probably wouldn't do well with corona, but I'm just like I am personally willing to take that chance with my health. I guess I'm in some sort of kamikaze mode, but like
Yeah,
I have to snap back to reality. Like that is not why. Like if that was the case, we wouldn't be in quarantine. It's like about spreading it to other people, and then I'm like, oh yeah,
exactly. And then now you have all these protesters out there
I know
trying to,
those people are crazy.
yeah, they're trying to compare this to like other things in life. I'm like, bro, this isn't comparable at all. Like they're trying to compare it to, oh, we don't shut down the country for people that smoke.
I
We don't shut
know.
down. We don't shut down
It's
the
not the
country for all
same.
the car accidents. I'm like, that's not. Those aren't contagious. Like, what are you talking? Like, people are idiots. Yeah.
People really are idiots sometimes.
But for the listeners, yeah, we've been going through a lot for 2 weeks. Asia Asia had a lot to get through. I was there. I was there for moral support. You know what I mean? So,
It was a hot mess express. That should be the name of this title
yo,
of this
that's what it.
podcast.
That's the title. That's the title. Hot Mess
Jesus.
Express.
All I
But you made
know
it.
is
You made it.
that we made it. Our wedding bands came in this week, so that was really exciting.
Oh yeah, I saw you tweet that.
Oh, I meant to actually text you a picture of mine. I'll text it to you right now.
So are you guys? So are you, once you guys get married legally, are you going to wear your rings?
Oh
Or are you
yeah, no questions asked. I might get myself a third ring for the next date.
gonna-
I just feel like
Hey, why not?
I might do it. I might just pull the trigger and do it.
Why not?
Because mine is like my rings are silver with diamonds and Terrence is gold, so it's like two different colors. So I might get like a skinny gold one for like mixed metal stack. Not that you care about that, but I'm just saying.
No, when we were looking for our rings, that's what I found out that people do like stacks, and then they do another finger and all this additional crap.
Craziness.
Too much for me.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's the rundown, y'all. You've now listened to me complain about moving my wedding for 45 minutes.
Hey, but here, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I do feel a lot better. And I've been waiting to tell you that, and I've been holding it all in for the pod so that it was like, a genuine story. Because I would have told you that before we even did it. You're like VIP.
Yeah, like, and we were even speaking, like, we were planning our content for the next few weeks.
I know.
And this was before, I think it was before you even figured out you were going to move it, but you were like, it was coming down to like the end, and you were like, I'm getting stressed out. And that's the episode where I'm probably going to have a breakdown on the pod, and I'm going to be crying.
I thought I was going to cry on this episode, but if we had done it last week, we would have been in full.
It would have been tears.
You would have felt so uncomfortable. You would have been like, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm not. People would be crying around me. I'm like this morning, I was on a team call with like 15 to 20 people, and every call we like go through and we just talk about like how we're feeling. And today it just got super emotional, and then people on the call just started crying. I'm like, oh my god! And we all have our cameras on. I'm just sitting there looking like, not trying to have any of like, I don't want to see everybody crying. Like, weird, bro. Like I saw like people were like, everybody's cameras on, and then everybody starts crying, and then people start cutting their cameras off because they're just bawling. I'm just
Here's a good question, though. Here's a good question, because we're always on this podcast talking about like having to be friends with coworkers. Do you miss seeing your coworkers in the flesh?
No, I miss being in the office. I miss being out the house. I don't miss seeing them in the flesh.
Fair.
I see them like, bro, we have so many calls. It's like I see them.
Yeah, you see them.
I'm talking to them now. Like now we're having more calls now just to make sure that everybody's good than ever before. I'm just like, I miss being physically being there and being out the house and being able to just maneuver around.
Yeah.
But being around them and seeing them in person, nah. Do you?
Kind of, but I don't know.
All I know is that I've gotten a couple texts from you like, it's a wrap. I'm done with them. And I'm like, yo, calm down. What are you talking about? You're not quitting. You're not leaving. Relax.
I get very dramatic in the heat of the moment.
You're like, I can't pod today, or we can't talk today. I'm about to quit my job. Like, huh?
I'm gonna have to take this part out.
Wait, let's They listen. They listen, right?
I'll just keep it in. I don't even care. Oh my God. Well, Jared.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, thanks. I mean, you're welcome. Now that we're back on regularly scheduled program, I'm excited for the stuff we have coming up.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to catch up on other than the saga of my life that we'll save for another day. Whew.
I think this is a good one. I think people will enjoy it, especially, like you said, the people who... Somebody knows somebody who was supposed to get married in 2020 and had to push it, or even like a bridal shower, baby shower, anything.
Yeah.
So I think the listeners are going to like this one.
I hope so.
I hope you feel better about it. We're excited for you. Regardless of the date, like I told you earlier, regardless of the date, it's going to be lit. It's going to be a good time. You're going to be happy.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, everybody. Well, if you like this episode and this podcast, subscribe. More importantly, share it with someone else. Share the episode with someone else who may have not listened before. Rate and give us a review.
Yeah, follow us. I forgot the socials. Like, nah.
Are you kidding me?
Follow us on Instagram, Done With Adulting Pod. If you're on Twitter, if you're in the Twitterverse, follow us at Done WTH Adulting, and just interact with us. Like some photos, share us, throw us up on your stories. We appreciate it all.
Stay safe out there, people.
Yeah, stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't be out in public.
You know the deal.
Wear your mask.